Welcome to Wikibearings, where we dive into the worlds of engineering excellence, from the automotive marvels to the industrial giants. Join us to explore the wonders that keeps the world in motion. My name is Hassan Alwan, and I'm your host. Welcome to another episode of Wikibearing. In today's episodes, we have a very interesting topic. We're going to discuss seals, automotive seals especially, and different types of seals. And for this particular episode, I have a very special guest, an expert into the automotive seals with many years of hands-on experience, trainer, and an expert in Corteco brand. Welcome to the show, Aleksandar Tontić.
Thank you very much for such a nice announcement. As you said, I have a lot of experience, but okay, I'm still learning, because if you're not learning, you cannot advance.
We are always a student of this life.
Yeah, of course. Life is a great teacher for us.
Definitely. Aleksandar, or maybe I will call you Alex.
Yes, it's better, Alex.
Yeah. Alex, I know that you have spent the past few years or maybe many years in Corteco organization, and you have been both a technical sales, technical support, a trainer. So I have the right expert for this topic. And for some of our audience that are maybe not so much familiar with the Corteco brand, what are the range of Corteco? So if you tell us a little bit more about what Corteco is a brand and what range is inside Corteco.
First, to make introduction of today's topic, I would like to say something about company itself. Corteco
Great.
was a very, very old company. It was established in 1925 in Torino, in Italy, under the name Corteco'S. But in 1932, they changed the name in Corteco, which we still today as a name. What is really important, we joined to the company Freudenberg. Actually, Freudenberg acquired Corteco at 1936. And since those, yes, it's such a nice and prosperous marriage between the Corteco and Freudenberg. We use a lot of expertise and resources from Corteco, and we become very famous by the shaft seals. Actually, the shaft seals was invented in Freudenberg by their engineer, Walter Zimmer, in 1929. That was the initial invention. And since 1932, we start producing the serial production of the shaft seals. What was the idea? Just to making easier maintenance of the machines and also the vehicles in those times, because since beginning of the 20th century, expansion of the production of the cars is immense. So that's beginning of the story, and from the 1936, we started producing the shaft seals of the artificial rubber.
Okay.
Perbunan, or today known as MBR. That's one of the oldest rubber which used for the shaft seals.
Yeah, I know that in the beginning for sealing, they were using, I think, normal leather or some kind of material, which is more natural material,
yes,
just to find a solution.
Just I need to add something. Freudenberg as a company, they have storied history, which beginning in 1849 as a tannery in Mannheim.
Okay.
The Karl Johann Freudenberg founded those company, and we start as a tannery. But because of a huge factory and production, there is a lot of problems in the maintenance of the machine. You know very well when some machines stop on, for example, on construction site or in the factory, you need to react very fast.
Sure.
In those times, seals was made of the ropes on leather beneath the flanges, and the Walter Zimmer just invented one very simple element which was exchanging in a very few minutes, very fast. So, but the first shaft seals was really made of the leathers, and those leather was impregnated with the acronal. Acronal is still using today as an impregnation material especially in construction site for the concrete and porous materials.
True.
So, but when the rubber was introduced in production and made the first one, then the history really began.
I think also where the brand or the name of Simrit came from, right? Like,
Simmering, yes. Simmering is given by the inventor,
Yes.
Walter Simmer.
because this is still, I think, lots of seals. People will ask about simmering. You have
Yes,
this
yes, exactly.
simmering seals. It's quite an
It's
old
a
famous.
shaft seal is English translation.
Yes.
Without offense, but the simmering is a real name. Actually, the ring of simmer.
Yes, yes, and I think it goes back many years. If we look at now that you told us a little bit about how the name of Corteco came and how Frodenberg was involved in this part. Now today, Corteco as a brand is a well-known brand, available over many countries, very famous in Europe, but they are across Europe, Asia, Middle East, Africa. Also, you are present in America and so on. So tell us more a bit the range of Corteco. What are the products beyond the seals, for example?
If you just focus on automotive industry, I can tell you, in point of sealing, we have about 7,000 different references for the static seals and over the 4,000 references for the dynamic seal.
Wow.
Just to explain, dynamic sealing is actually simmerings. It's a seal where is some movement present, rotational or linear. Static is, where we have some two elements clumped and between them is some seal. Also, doesn't matter if you speak about oil, but also about other different fluids.
Other fluids, yes. So if we look a little bit beyond the seals, I know that Corteco is producing some filters and some other products. Well, can you tell us a little bit about the other products?
Yes. Filtration is another. Brake hoses, steering and suspension part, and also particularly is very important on the vehicles is vibration control elements and parts like crankshaft pulleys, engine mounts, top strut mounts, different kind of the bushings. It's all of those is rubber to metal. But what is significant for all of those elements, also for the shaft seals, is the material. Actually elastomer. I proudly can say the Freudenberg is one of the best in the technology of the materials. Just as a reference, now active we have 1,800 different recipes active. 8,000 is still in the archive, just in a case if some of our partners need for some maintenance, especially focused for the industrial area. For example, on the coal mine, you will maintain one in 5 years some of the excavators.
True.
You need some specific seals for them made of very specific material, which can last another additionally 5 years.
Yes.
So, because of that, we have an archive and we don't throw any single recipe.
Of course, Frodenberg, when it comes to the material and the rubber material, this is like the niche or the specialty of and the technology behind.
Yes.
Now, let's dive a little bit deeper into the seals. Now, you started telling us a little bit about dynamic seal and static seals. I know, like whenever we have a rotation or a movement, we call them dynamic seals.
Yes.
When we have no movement, let's say maybe two different parts, we wanna seal. It could be oil or water or any other fluids. I think
Some acid.
Yes.
Even air.
Exactly. So normally this is the static seals. But if we look at, let's look first on the dynamic seals. What are the different types of dynamic seals available today in the market?
Plenty of dynamic seals because everyday challenge and the new project with our partners just looking to create or they started, they face always with some problem. For example, one of the best friend of the bearing is a seal.
Yeah.
You know very well.
Yes. Brothers and sisters.
Yes, exactly. Very, very close, very close relatives. Let's say siblings.
Yeah.
So they sat in front of our engineers and chemists what kind of seal they needed. This depends how we will create the material, how we will design the shaft seal. It's not the easiest. Okay, for the standard one with the spring, it's normal. It's a standard spring, and they plenty of application use those seals. But in some cases, for example, for agriculture, for the construction, for some industrial machine, they need a very specific design and construction. For example, one of those is, let's say, cassette seals, which use on the off-road vehicle, on the trucks, on the agriculture, on the excavators, and so on, just to protect the bearings and very fragile gear reducers, which is behind. Also, there is a combi seals, also very interesting design. One of them is casco seal, for example, made for the truck engines, which can last close to 1.5 million kilometers.
Wow.
Which is really impressive.
Long lasting.
Long lasting without leakage. Okay, if the engine is start to leaking on other parts,
other reasons,
that's another problem.
Okay, now we hear always the word seal and sealant and oil seals. So, like, again, for our audience that is looking at us and seeing us, how do you define what is a seal and what is the purpose to use a seal?
Actually, seal, when we looking in dictionary, that means fix or close in a secure way and insulate some area, avoiding something getting in or getting out. That's the definition of the seal. The similar is for the shaft seal. For example, if we install on some assembly, first task is just to provide protection of the assembly which is behind. Either we speak about bearings, either we speak about some gears or some engine parts. From other side, they need protect the leakage and losing of the valuable fluid, oil, for example, which is important for lubrication of all of those components, or in some process to keep some different kind of the fluid inside.
Sealing them in or sealing them out.
Yes, exactly.
And I think also a very important part of the purpose of the seal is also to protect from contamination.
Exactly.
And keep the contamination.
Yes, incursion from contaminant from environment like water, like dust. Especially here in your country, there is plenty of dust, which is worst enemy of any machine, of any device. The second could be a salty water, for example, in the sea for the vessels and for some boats. Muddy water, for example, if some of the machines is working on swamps or something, they need to protect. For example, the agricultural machinery, they always working in really harsh conditions.
Definitely.
To protect. For example, the cassette seals is just made for those reasons, and one of the premium level is marked with the K7. Those cassette seals could last close to 4,000 hours, working hours.
Nice. Which means
is
really
impressive, really impressive. Also you can find the cassette seals also on the off-road vehicle, like some terrain jeeps or something.
True. I think when we look at the different applications, there are different challenges. Some application you want to protect from water or humidity. Some other application from dust. Another mud, could be another solvent or another fluid that you want to isolate out from protecting the components inside, and this is why investing in a good seal can protect the machine in a very different level than what the cost of the seal itself.
That's actually the difference between the good and the, let's say, fake seal. The material. Actually, when our engineers designing some shaft seals, they pay attention of many aspects. One of the aspects is first physical dimensions of the shaft. The second one is how those shaft is made, roughness. We just prescribed the roughness of the shaft. Another one is the speed of rotation. It's really crucial because the speed could harm very badly if he miss the material.
True.
They will just burn.
Yes.
Then media, oil, acid, water, water with detergent, like in washing machine, for example. Then the pressure and also the temperature. That's all
to design
fats.
a seal.
Yes, only for the one seal.
True.
It's not easy to choose the good seal. So it's better to choose the original one, not to taking something which offering under the cheaper price. Because either the shaft seal is not so expensive, but they keeping and protecting very valuable equipment which is behind.
Which is normally much more expensive.
Yes. Can you imagine, for example, on the truck, one bearing is cost a lot of money.
Yes.
If you use some cheap shaft seal, what could happen with those very expensive bearing? You know very well.
Yes, I know. It will not last very long. That's what I can tell you.
Not only the bearing will be stuck, but those will
have
result
all the
with another problems, breaking some gears or even the damage, the
braking system,
yes,
the hub, the flange.
Exactly.
Many things. Now, I can, for sure, the different element to design is a good seal. There are many, as you said, the environment, the shaft, the contamination, the medium, all of that. But I think the most important part of a seal is the material itself.
Yes, because different application needs the different materials. If you speak common use in automotive industry today, I can just assume as 4 materials: MBR, ACM, FKM, and PTFE. I will just explain. Yes. MBR is perbunan, is very old material by production. ACM is acrylic. MBR is actually used only for the slow-moving shafts. Let's say low speed.
Yes.
ACM, it's still used for the engines in some applications, but FKM, aka Viton, or PTFE, aka Teflon, it's common use today on the modern engines and the high-speed rotational shafts. Those materials is highly durable. They withstand with a temperature range between -80 till +200. Teflon, for example. Yes. Viton is -20 till +200. It's really high temperature. So those materials is really durable and not possible to exchange. For example, I know the next question, because I faced with those questions many times on the field. For example, if you have Teflon, actually PTFE, on engine, it's not possible to replace with some another kind because they will burn. Only exception in one case, if the manufacturer or designer of engine predict to exchange with some another. Only in that case. Other, it's not possible.
I think because of the environment and the speed of the shaft, if you use another material that is not applicable to use, then you are very fast damaging the material, which is the sealing. So at the end of the day, after a few hours of operating, you already damaged the seal. So the seal loses its characteristics. It can cause even fire, or can cause some burning, smoke.
They're burning.
Yeah.
They're burning.
And depending on the environment. But at the end of the day, the wrong seal at the wrong location does not give you what you want, which is the sealing technology.
They can create such a mess and destruction and problem.
Sure. Yeah.
For example, you mentioned the temperature. It's also very important if we not use the proper material, which is prescribed for this application, what could happen? Rubber has some property to vulcanizing again if they goes above designed temperature. For example, if MBR is designed to working on maximum 120 degree, if they expose 150, 160, in a very short period of time, they will vulcanize and become too hard.
Yes.
Afterwards, they start to leaking. Afterwards, the sand from the desert will came there, creating some fine file and just cut some bit on the shaft. And we destroyed such a valuable element.
True.
Only because of one seal which we not use in a proper way.
You know, if we look at, of course, people try to find solution, and I like this looks very similar to this, and I think it's very important that the what we are trying to protect from a sealing perspective, it's way more expensive than the cost of the seal itself. The seal is like the gateway.
Exactly.
That will tell you know, like this is allowed to enter, this is not
Gatekeeper.
allowed. Gatekeeper. And you have no gatekeeper. A lots of the wrong element is inside that system.
Exactly.
and after that, if you look at, for example, it's a gearbox, you have some contamination, you damage a very expensive machine.
Couple of thousands of euro or dollars,
Yes.
which cost.
Exactly.
Repairing is also very expensive. So when you speak about in that direction, every single seal, as we spoke at the beginning, it's designed for the specific purpose. It's not possible and not advisable, but it's mandatory to use. Because of that, I use all of those words.
Yes.
Use prescribed, actually, direct code, which is for this application. Can you imagine on some wheel hub for the construction machine, there is a cassette seal. It's not available, or it's too expensive for someone. They found the regular one with the single sealing lip and with the spring and installed there. Such a shaft seal will start to leaking after the couple of hours, not tenth of hours, but couple of hours, 1, 2, or 3 hours of work. And what happened behind? We lose the axle, we lose the gears inside, we lose the brakes. When you make a summary, it's cost 5,000 euro instead of, for example, 20 or 50 euro, doesn't matter about prices. I'm just comparing the values and differences.
It's become a disaster. This machine, you know, like the cost of repairing, the time, the total cost of maintenance. How many hours do you need now to repair? We go in a much different direction. It's not even just the cost of the maintenance. No production time, all of that is a cost. How to get the rest of the spare part, it's a big job.
Always is mandatory to check the code. If the guys don't know which code is, they can refer on our web page, find your seal. There is such a good tool. Only by dimension you can find exact the shaft seal you needed. Doesn't matter. For example, someone wants to repair some Caterpillar shovel wheel loader. And they don't know exact code, but they have a caliper, take a measure, put in a tool, they got some references, and they choose, okay, this is on the hub, wheel hub. Okay, I need this one. They got the code, call you, do you have it? Yes, we have it. Do you need something else? Because in this goes this, and that. You need all of this for the repair. And that's a right way how to fix the problem and making a assembly longer for work. Actually making approved longevity of.
These are maybe small details, but I think they are very crucial to find the right seal. And as much as we can iterate, me and you here, and you know the material, the right seal for the right application, it's crucial. Otherwise, you don't get the characteristic.
What a point to making a maintenance if you don't use the proper parts.
Now, we spoke about the material, we spoke about the characteristic, choosing the right seal, but sometimes there are seals that are bidirectional or can move in two direction, and some seals are designed for one direction. Can you tell us more about this? Is it important, or can I put
Good
any?
question. Good question. Good question and good observation. Because on the engines, for example, we have a crankshaft which rotating always in one direction.
True.
Okay, when you're looking in the front and the rear, it's different, but doesn't matter. One is the left, second is the right, one directional.
One direction.
It's very important because mechanism of how the shaft sealing actually. When shafts start to rotating, there is beneath the sealing lip creating one effect, we call it micro pumping effect. They force the oil to circulating beneath the seal,
back, yes.
beneath the seal, first to lubricate the sealing lip to avoid burned out,
Yes.
and the second to cool down.
Definitely.
And also, if some of the very small particles, like some gas vapor or some very small particles, let's say we cannot stop the below the 1 micron some particles to stop, but they just spill it beneath the sealing lip and get in a mass of oil and then goes through the filters. So helix or lines you can spot on the shaft seal, they increase those effects and protect leakage from the assembly. But if you mix the direction, instead of left, put the right, the oil immediately goes out.
Because that direction gonna
Yes, exactly. They just drag oil out. So extremely pay attention, because on every shaft seal there is some arrow which show the direction.
Why I think this is also important, because even if you put all the right profile, the right seal, the right element, but if you put a right direction and a left shaft, you don't get this sealing. And it is a very small arrow that we will have to pay attention.
Also,
there
is one trick. There is also one trick. If you could not spot the arrow, you can use take a shaft seal and outer side just align up, and looking on the lines on those helix. If those lines falling on the left, it's a left. It's falling on the right, it's right direction. So it's very easily, but always we put direction. Pay attention, because the Teflon shaft seals, they're also unidirectional.
Yes, yes.
So it's very important to follow this.
Some people say, okay, why I buy one, because sometimes you have on one side the right rotation, on the other side left rotation. I'll buy the bi-directional and I put here and here. Is it something you will advise?
No, it's not possible. Thinking on that way, bidirectional is made for totally different purpose. For example, for the some application like differential on the pinion, just to protect. But I know what you're thinking about. It's for example on the crankshaft, left and right. If that is possible, the engineers will apply this. But as a helix is one direction, they have a much bigger effect for this purpose, as they made it. But for the differential, where we have alternate rotation, it's bidirectional, is made it in a very specific way.
So what conclusion that if we have one direction, we use one direction?
Yes, exactly.
We don't try to mix them up.
No. Even if you try to use without helix, you can solve the problem, but in very short period of time. It's not solution.
It's
the
not
oil
a long term.
goes out.
It's not a long-term
Yes.
solution, definitely. So now we spoke about the importance of material, importance of direction, the size. Now, let's say some of our audience is okay, how do I choose the right seal? So what I should think about when I want to choose a seal, what are the steps to take to choose the right seal?
Okay, if we looking for that, best way just to refer, if you have a proper workshop manual, to get the code for those shaft seal, because those shaft seal is made exact for the very specific application. In other way or other case, you can refer in our tool, Find Your Seal. As explained, just to found by dimension, and then refer where they install, because there is a plenty of application which they can be used, and you choose, for example, you take out from the gearbox, there is one icon, gearbox, you choose this icon and you got directly the code. Okay, in this case, Corteco code, but when you open those code, you will get OE references.
True.
Which car, which vehicle, either we speak about tractors or trucks or passenger cars, you will get exact OE codes. So you can looking by OE manufacturer, but you will get, again, our shaft seal in their box, or you can buy directly Corteco by Corteco. Also, one thing which is good for our audience, pay attention what is engraved on the shaft seals. CFW means Corteco, Karl Freudenberg Weinheim, or Corteco, or CRTC. That means Corteco shaft seals, actually Freudenberg seals. Or, in one case, it's NOC, Freudenberg NOC, because NOC belongs to Freudenberg also.
And okay, yes.
Yes, you know very well those companies.
Yeah. But if I think this tool you mentioned is very, very interesting and important tool. I want to, again, for people that did not, maybe, I think it's fine.
Maybe you can put...
But I think it's Find Your Seal.
Yes, Find Your Seal. It's one word, .com.
Yes.
Or it's much easier, go directly on the Corteco web page.
Okay.
And on the bottom of the front homepage is actually
the
two tools. One is eCut Corteco. It's our electronic catalog. Second one is Find Your Seal. It's very easily to recognize because it's a picture of a seal is on it.
I think this is a great tool to identify a seal, because if you are not sure, at least you can find by size, you can find by OEM number, you can find by application. You have, okay, I have this car, I have this shaft seal, then you can get the suggestions.
You can looking on that way, but it's too long. Find Your Seal is much shorter. True. You just put numbers and you get final results.
You get the seal. Now, if we look at the seal, and let's say I am not very sure, is this seal or this seal, is there any way to let's say minimize? If I put for example the size, I don't know, maybe the OEM number, I put the size, I get 3 or 4 seals. How do I identify from there?
It's very easily, because I mentioned the icons. You have plenty of icons where they apply. For example, wheel hubs, gearbox, either if you speak about higher pressure, oil pumps, for example, power takeoffs. You have plenty of those icons. You know exactly from where you take off those seals, because it will be really silly. You take out the shaft seal and you don't know from where they are. You just choose those applications and you got directly. And also in the table, when you open, you can find exact material from which those part is made.
If I'm a maintenance engineer, I finally got the right seals, and I want to do the installation. Now, I think a lot of people think, okay, it's an oil seal. I just slide it on the shaft, the job is done. But I think when looking this from an expert point of view, I think there is an importance to look at, because the wrong installation can damage the seal even before any operating hours. So I want you to give us some suggestion, advice, ideas on how to install the right way.
Yeah, actually, I'm faced with a couple of very interesting ideas how to install, actually, how not to install the shaft seal. right way in a first row is protect the shafts, all the sharp edges on the shaft. That's a first. You can use the tool, which is very simple and also could be provided on the market, but in absence of those tools, you can protect with some plastic ribbon, very tiny ribbon. For example, X-ray photo, you can cut it, or you can buy it in a paper store for the laser printer. There is a very tiny foil. You can make some ring, put and cover the shaft, and over this install the shaft seal. Also, never use screwdrivers to just improve the setup. Pay attention if you found some alternate solution about tolerances. Always follow the tolerances, because 1 millimeter is too much if you speak about small shaft seal, for example, of 10 or 15 millimeters, it's too much. But if you speak about on a shaft seal of 200 or 150 millimeters, that's okay, that's acceptable, and the elasticity of the sealing lip can accept this. So the another way, when you speak also of installation, Teflon shaft seals, PTFE. After installation, of course, it must be installed with the tool in a proper way with the covering. Always the PTFE shaft seals is supplied with some plastic insert or cardboard insert. This depends on the size of the shaft seal. For example, for the wheel hub application, Teflon shaft seals is just delivered with some cardboard ring inside, which is used as a tool for installation on the shaft.
To avoid the damage on the lip.
Yes, exactly.
While installing.
Those kind of the shaft seal install on a totally dry shaft without oil, and need to wait 4 till 6 hours that the PTFE, actually the sealing lip made of the PTFE, rest and touch firmly on the surface. After that, you can start the application. Run the truck or start the engine. In any other case, the oil will start to leaking.
Because I think especially for PTFE, the material is so special that it requires some time to form its, let's say, to embrace the shaft, or to hug the shaft the right way.
Because they are a little bit slow movement, like a snail, You have a rabbit, and the turtle, that's a race. Any elastic made of the rubber is like a rabbit. Teflon is like a turtle and need the time to reach the
and I think again some people thinks, okay, maybe the original seal is NBR, but okay, I want to buy a good seal. I will buy a Viton or a Teflon seal. And then they put the seal, they start, and then you still have a problem. I think, okay, but I brought even a better seal.
Yes, but they not follow the instruction how to install it. They just put on the shaft without any protection and nothing. And you cannot imagine the damage if installed without tool. It's so tiny, it's not visible with the bare eye.
You cannot see.
You need to magnify a couple of hundred of times just to see it. It's very, very tiny, but it's enough for oil to get out. Because layer of oil which is beneath, it's only 1 micron. It's a 1,000th part of the millimeter. It's so tiny.
And this is why I say, and you buying a more expensive seal does not mean you are doing the best thing or the best solution. I think these small technical or advice are so important, especially because these lips are so tiny and they are so manufactured in such a precision. You damage that by just sliding the shaft or putting some screwdriver to then I think no need for the seal because you lose
But that's actually point of all of this. To using a tool to protect the shaft seal, not the shaft.
Yes.
And also many of cases was when they take out the shaft seal from the housing, they're using a screwdriver and they damage the surface of the shaft. When they damage surface, it's done.
Yes.
Shaft seal will not work. Also
because the shaft itself have now this dent
yes,
that cannot be absorbed by the elasticity of the lid.
Not only this, they will just behave like
A
mild.
knife, yes.
Yes, like knife, and they just or late, you know,
Yes.
and they just cut. Also, one very important thing when we speak about preparation for installing a new shaft seal, use a brake cleaner and use some cellophane. You know what that means. That's some material which usually housewives using to covering a jar when they're preparing some jam or something. So it's so soft. If you use sandpaper, you will destroy the surface of the shaft seal and create such a nice spiral, like spiral pump, actually Archimedes pump. Those spiral, it drag out the oil immediately when you start. So this is some problems which many times the people try to stubborn soiling remove, but they need the patience.
They like this sandpaper on the shaft.
It's better to put in the desert and just rotate a couple of times. And
Let's say I now already bought the perfect seal. I done follow all the instruction for installation. I put it in this machine. Now, what do I expect for a lifetime of this oil seal?
for oil seal depends how they design for which kind of the application. As I mentioned, Casco shaft seal can last 1.5 million kilometers. Okay.
That's many kilometers.
Yes, it's actually a lot of kilometers. Can you imagine if some of the trucks which running all the day, let's say 24 hours, they can pass close to 150, close to 200,000 kilometers per year.
True.
They're just changing the drivers. They're not changing the trucks, but changing the drivers. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
That's in the 5-6 years, but before you replace the Casco shaft seal in the engine, you need to replace many times the shaft seals in the axles.
True.
Also, I mentioned the shaft seals for the heavy application, Casco, 4,000 hours. For the engines, if you install, it's as a manufacturer of engine predict when need to replace. In a gearbox also. In many cases, I don't know. I just example, 100,000 kilometers to replace the shaft seal on input shaft with the sleeve. Because this is a period when you need to replace the clutch. Also, very important, on engines, when replacing the timing system, is one of the major maintenance, it's mandatory to replace the shaft seals on the crankshaft, on the camshaft. Why? Yes. Also from opposite side, when you're replacing the clutch set. When engine running, shaft seal and the crankshaft lives in such a harmony. They wear out, they know each other, how they're moving. But when you replace and just distract this bondage, you distract the touching points and you create some gaps. When you start again, they start to leaking again.
Yes.
And because of that, every single engine manufacturer, especially for the new engines, new generation of engines, mandatory, ask to replace those shaft seals for those operations. Can you imagine when you replace the clutch set, which costs a lot of money, and not replace the shaft seal, which is made of PTFE? Who will pay
another maintenance cost?
Yes,
another,
exactly.
Yeah.
And not only this, who will accept the warranty claim on the clutch?
True.
No one.
True. You know, if we look at it also, these are again small details, but they are so important. And if we if we try to pay attention to this, we can have a very long-lasting, many kilometers to come. Now, let's say I change the seal on my car, but I don't use many kilometers. Is there any timeline? I said, okay, I can use it for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Is there any timeline if I'm not using this machine or this car for a long time? Because sometimes we don't, not everyone is a mileage driver. Maybe I use the car to go to, 1 or twice a week. I don't get a lot of mileage. Is there any recommendation on the...
If you speak about this lifetime, you are on the safe side, because when the shaft seal is in some assembly, they in such a specific environment. They protect against the huge drift of the temperature during a year, and you can using for a certain and a long period of time. Okay, maybe you could not reach the mileage because you are a low mileage driver, for example, 5,000-6,000 kilometers per year, but here is not possible to drive so short. So maybe this is just as a one example. After 50,000 kilometers, that means in 10 years of such a driving, you need to replace, but without any affection outside, no oil leakage, no nothing. But this is just advice, or you can just drive. But another thing is shelf life. If the shaft seal is not inside assembly, and you put on the shelf and keeping for a while. Usually, if the conditions is ideal, that means the drop of temperature during a year is not more than plus minus 5 degrees, which is not possible here. And of course is always around between 25 and 20 degrees, which is normal, like let's say in continental Europe. But also humidity. Humidity not so over the 60%, between the 50 and 60%, and always keep in original package. It could be kept on the shelf up to 10 years with periodical check. If the packaging is damaged, or if the some changes on rubber, because doesn't matter how the rubber is engineered perfectly or high-end quality. One of the most dangerous impact is from the ozone. We cannot avoid it. No. They're all around us. Yes. In combination with the temperature, you know very well on the tires on the car.
Yes, yes.
Sunlight, extreme change during a day, also ozone. After the 5 years, your tires on the car, it's for the dump yard.
Yes, it's fully cracked, and you can have even if the tires are not running so many kilometers, but because it's exposed to ozone, ultraviolet lights, shifting of temperature during the year and even during the day, maybe 40 degrees in the day during the day and 20 degrees at night. This is all impact the rubber or the material, the elastomer of the material itself, and
they're just aging prematurely.
Yes,
true. But I'm telling you the ideal condition for keeping on the shelf. 5 years. After 5 years, you still can using either after 10 years. But the lifespan and longevity of those part, it's not as they knew.
True.
Which is made it installed after the few months after the production, So they able still to use, but not expect the 1 year to use, just to making some patch to go and install a new one, proper one.
At the end, it will not be the same as a new seal, and but I was asking this because I think it's also important how we store it, how long time we store. Because this is, even if you have a new seal, if the seal is 20 years old, maybe it's not suitable for any usage.
Always, that doesn't matter if you speak about seals, but also other rubber products like belts, for example, timing belts, for sure. keep away from a dust, keep away from a direct sunlight. Direct sunlight is worst condition for the rubber. And second, try to put in some corner where the less changing of the temperature.
True.
And not to keep it for 10, 15, 20 years. It's
It will not work anymore.
But okay, if you keep it for 6 months till 1 year, it's no big deal.
True.
Of course, if previously it's not was stored for 10 years, of course.
So Alex, when we look at the seals, let's say I install the right way, I have some seals. Do I need to do any maintenance on these seals?
No, just if you done everything correctly and under the instruction, you don't need it until you spot some very small leakage, and then just following and the leakage become intensive, then you replace it. Okay. Also, when you replace the shaft seal, mandatory check what is behind. Maybe from some other reason those seal is start to leaking. For example, maybe the higher temperature of the oil inside. Maybe some shavings, metal shavings is, for example, in the gearbox or in a wheel hub reducer. If the gears start to wearing, they producing a very, very fine metal shavings. Those shavings harm very badly, indirectly, the shaft seal. Doesn't matter if you not check this and you put new one, you will get again the problem again.
If we look at sometimes or some maintenance engineers or maintenance guys, they like to put some kind of a grease or lubricant before they slide the.
Okay, always the same question when the old materials was used for the shaft seals. That was one of way how to install. But if you use tool, as I explained, you not needed to lubricate excessively the shaft seal. You just need to lubricate the part where the shaft seal will be installed. They could easily, with those sleeves, just put in this zone, and that's it. In some cases, where is the prediction for a higher temperature on the dust lip, there needs some grease, but it's not any kind of the grease. You need to use a special grease for the lubricating the dust lip on the shaft seal. Usually, we use the grease. The name is Petamo 133, which can withstand with a 230 degree. It's really high. It's grease for the very specific bearings.
You know why I ask this question? Because sometimes, of course, sometimes we need to lubricate the lip because also to reduce the temperature and it helps us to maintain the lip. But sometimes we see they're putting any types of grease.
No.
That will again damage the properties.
One problem. I know you are also dealing with the grease, especially for the bearings and for the special kind. Only what you need to pay attention on the technical data sheet, dripping point. Why dripping point? If the oil creating some drops when they start to melting, it's very dangerous because those drops can first attract the dirt from environment, and the second, because they are much higher viscosity than oil which is inside, then they just get beneath the sealing lip and create the gap and oil get out. So not always advisable to use any kind of the grease. Very specific and always. But when the shaft seal need to be with some grease, they come from the factory, actually from us, pre-greased.
Yes, pre-lubricated. I have seen that it's already inside.
This is particularly used for example, application on the wheel hubs, for the wheel bearings, and also in some cases, but very rarely, for some crankshaft seals. Very rarely. But this is for some very specific application, which is not interesting for us as automotive.
No, I think it's important that yes, we have many different and good types of greases, but when it's come to oil seal, we have to use the right grease or the right lubricant for that. Otherwise, again, you have an impact on the sealing technology itself.
Also not only dripping point, but also the quality of grease. Doesn't matter if they high quality, but they can chemically harm the material. Maybe those rubber is not resistant on those kind of ingredients and additives which is inside the grease. Always advise, if you want to use something like this, okay, with the dripping point on the highest as possible temperature, they just put on some part which is not important for sealing, and just to check, or on the old seal. If there is some changes on the surface, please don't use.
True. Now, sometimes we have industrial application seals, we have automotive. Even on the automotive, we have different application in the car. Crankshaft is different than wheel bearing. Some industrial seals have many different. If we look at what is the main difference between what we call an automotive seal and a general industrial seal?
If we speak in that direction, we can speak first about pressure. Automotive seal and some industrial application, most of industrial application working on the low pressure, up to 1 bar. That's very low.
Yeah.
And we can exchange. We use plenty of seals which can, they have both use in industrial and automotive. But when we speak about medium pressure between 1 and 10 bar, there is another story.
True.
Then we use in automotive very specific and very small amount and codes for those kind of the seals. For example, we need for the steering racks, for the power steering, where is the higher pressure than on engine or on gearbox. And of course, if we speak about really high pressure, 10 bars and up to 300, 400, like on construction machinery or hydraulic, that's totally different story. Inside the Freudenberg sealing technology, there is a two divisions, actually factories, Simrit and Merkel, which dealing with this range of the seals.
Which is
for the high
very
pressures.
high
Yes,
pressure
very high
seal.
pressures. So when you speak about automotive and industrial, we can freely say and that they share up to low pressure.
You know, we in the market there is general perception about this we can use, this we cannot use. We have to like bust some myth. We want to, like, I will tell you a few things that people have a perception, and you tell us if you think it's correct or not, or this is true. So one general perception that the most important is size, material, profile, or application doesn't matter.
Dimension is only one factor. We start with this. The second is application, because application mandatory give us which kind of the material used for the shaft seal. So only by dimension it's not possible. And the third thing is just design of the shaft seal. It's not the same to use, for example, for the wheel hub on the front wheels, classic radial shaft seal without axial sealing. We also have such a kind of the shaft seals, because you need to protect completely the shaft seal against some dust which came from the brake pads. So it's not the same. Exact application needs exact the shaft seal. So
So size doesn't matter, or matter.
Yes, but just as a first point.
Yes. Now another perception we have sometimes, we see, okay, let's say a customer requests for specific size, and we say, we don't have this size. Said, no, give me anything plus minus 1 millimeter, no problem.
As I mentioned at the beginning, 1 millimeter it's no big deal on the bigger size. But when we speak about small size, we need be really precise. If you speak about shaft seal for the shaft of 10 millimeters, the tolerance almost zero. Almost zero, and you need to use a precise dimension. If you speak about shaft seals of 900 millimeters, 5 millimeter tolerance is okay, is acceptable. Can you imagine the shaft seal of 15 meters diameter, which we able to produce?
Okay.
The tolerance.
It will be different, of course. But for smaller size, I think it's important.
It's not possible. Example, okay, shaft, but what about housing? Instead of 20.5, you want to use 20 millimeters. What with additional 0.2 millimeters, which is a gap? There is a leakage. Not possible to use a silicone.
What if it's smaller?
The shaft seal is smaller. Opening is bigger. But if the opening is smaller and shaft is bigger, you will just peel off the
lip.
rubber. Yes.
So another, again, these are I think they are very, very interesting, just for people to know. A lot of people think, okay, NBR is the most famous rubber. It always works.
Try to use the NBR shaft seal in a washing machine. You will get the detergent and the dirty water in your washroom. So it's always I will repeat many times, the rubber, actually the material for the shaft seals is depend of the application. NBR is good for the some application like slow moving. Okay, if you speak about very old application, I don't know, Caterpillar, which is old 40, 50 years, NBR was used in those time. But if you speak about Caterpillar, which producing today, NBR is used on very few spots. Viton, Teflon, it's a materials which use on a modern machine, modern engines. I just mentioned Caterpillar because it's one of my a beloved brand, I love the construction machines, but we can speak also about cars. If we have some very old car, NBR and ACM was a common use in those time. Means the cars which old timers over the 40 years old. But today, can you imagine on some new Nissan, Mitsubishi, or some Toyota? There is a new materials. It's not possible to exchange, especially because of speed of rotation. It's extremely high speeds and extremely high. For example, one example comparing between the Viton and NBR. Same size of the shaft seal. NBR can consume 200 watt from the crankshaft.
Okay.
Viton can consume only 40, maximum 50 watt. Yeah. For cooking a soup on a stove, you need 8 watt per square centimeters. Then you calculate 200 watt. Width of the sealing edge in deformation is 0.2 millimeter maximum. Can you imagine those surface when you calculate with 200 watt, how many is per square centimeters? You can burn the whole building with this.
Yes. It becomes extreme.
It's enormous.
It's extreme.
Because of that, is new material is just introduced in automotive industry to decrease the friction and improve the efficiency of the engines. Actually, decrease the fuel consumption, decrease the pollution, and so on.
I have one very, very interesting one. We sell sometimes the wheel bearing kits. And usually these wheel bearing kits comes with the bearing, the seal, and some other components. So the maintenance can easily change all. And sometimes we have, again, this is another myth I want your expertise in, and said, no, I will not use this seal. I will use the original one.
Okay. Let's say something about this. I also got such a question from the on the field, from the guys. Okay, you know, I'm just install a new shaft seal, but I forgot something to do behind. Can I take it out and install again? No, shaft seal is only for the one installation. Doesn't matter if the original, and especially if they run, I don't know, for the
5 years.
5 years, it's not possible to install again because they wear out completely. The material is changed physically, chemically. So, but if you install and finished, you finished. But if you forgot something, for example, you installed the bearing and you forgot to say a clip just to secure the bearing, and you take out the shaft seal, throw it, and use new one, and install new one.
So never reuse the
Never,
oil seal.
never. It's only like a rocket.
Yeah.
Shot
It's
and
a one-time
forgot.
use.
Shot and forgot.
Yes. Now we spoke about, I mean, this is a very interesting, I think, topic we are discussing, and I think definitely our audience is liking what we are discussing because it's covering this seal in a bit deeper. I think we are moving into an era of electrical vehicle, connected, new. The speed of the cars are different, the speed of engine. How do you see that? What will change in the seals, or what is the evolution of seals?
Actually, materials going in direction of different type and different design. One of our design, which firstly made it for the internal combustion engine, is a Levitex. Actually, this dry gas sealing solution, I could explain for audience because I couldn't show them a video clip.
Yes.
On video clip, it's very easily to understand. You have on a rotational part of the seal, you have some vents like on turbo compressor.
Yeah.
When crankshafts start to rotating, those vents creating pressure which is roughly 0.3 bar above atmospheric. It's enough to move a static part a little bit and making such a small gap. So the friction is almost zero. Those kind of the shaft seal is just consume only 5 watt, which is nothing. Less consumption is LED diodes on a dashboard, not on the headlights. So that's one of the trend. Also the materials which use is high-end materials because of elasticity and durability. Those kind of the shaft seals can last as the engine running without any problems. Also, the another improvement, especially when you speak about electrical cars, is the materials which is electrically conducting. You know very well problems on wind generators.
Yeah.
There is electrostatic erosion on the bearings, which is really dangerous and cost a lot of. Few years ago, the Siemens asking from us to making such material, which is actually almost without resistance and can conduct the static charging directly to the ground, just to protect the seals. The same technology we use today for the bearings in electric motors and electric axles. Another material, another product is between the sealing and supporting is something like a thrust washer. We call it Levitorque. It's using in electric axles as a washer, and also Levitas is one kind of the seal and support on the shaft of the electrical axles. That's some of the new technologies. Another step is okay in a static sealing. We producing for example, the folding gasket for the battery compartment on the electrical vehicle. It's one of our patents. Can you imagine how could be a tool to making a 1.8 meter by 3 meter seal? It's huge. But our engineers just got some idea and making a folding gasket, actually edge bonded, and you can make it in a very small mold.
Nice. And
When you spread, you
it.
got what you need.
Exactly.
And also very important when you speak about that, it's compression set. Compression set for the rubber means possibility, not possibilities, it's properties of rubber. When you put under the pressure, certain period of time under a certain temperature, and when you release those pressure, you measure the height of the material. Those rubber which we use for those cover and those gasket is actually 99%.
Okay.
Same like in original. So you can reuse many times.
Okay.
It's very important, for
So
example,
it's okay
for maintenance.
to use. It's okay to use a static seal again.
Yes. Yes,
but not a shaft seal.
not, for example, a cylinder head gasket. But also very important, when we speak about static gaskets for the different kind of the covers on engine, we pay a lot of attention of quality of the rubber and those compression set just to reuse the gasket again. But of course, if by the maintenance, following the instruction about tightening torques and everything, to not deform the covers. If deform the covers, doesn't matter about
Finish.
quality. Yes.
Okay, I think we have spoken a lot about the seal, but we sell a product of Corteco that it's not a seal, but very related to seals, and I wanted your expertise and explain which is the silicone paste. You know, you have two types of silicone paste, which is very, very popular: the HT300 and the Evo 300. Tell us a little bit about the HT100 and I think the Revolution and the Evo 300.
Okay. At the first, both silicone paste can withstand with 300. Actually, working on 300 degree. Under the peak, they can withstand with 320 and something more, but 320 for the peak. That means 10, 15 minutes, no more. But 300 is normal working temperature for those. HT300 is actually artificial compound. Evo 300 is organic.
Okay.
As I like always to say, and I'm really proud on that, we always try to use as much as possible natural and organic components in our products, because elastomer is not easy to recycle.
True.
Even for the shaft seals or for some vibration control element, we use the organic compounds, which give us possibility to recycle even close to 70% of those products.
Nice, nice.
When you use some artificial, maximum percentage is 20-25%. So with our rubber, it's no problem to recycle. Okay, we take care about environment. So to continue with this, Evo 300 could last with the higher pressure. For example, for engine which is running on natural gas, on liquid petrol gas, its pressure is about 22 bar. We speak about them. HT300 is mostly for the petrol engines and for the diesel engines. They also resist on the fluids. Evo 300 is resist on all kind of the fluids you can find on the engine, even on the salty water, which is you can find on the boats or on a seaside. Also, Evo 300, they are very easy to apply. They can use the assembly after the reassembly. You can use after the 15 minutes. Also, you can apply without disassembling the components. For example, most of the problems on the mechanics, on the garage, is leakage on a water pump. As an example, not necessary to disassemble if they leaking on a flange, on an area where is the connect with the engine block. Clean it, apply the Evo 300, just making a smooth surface, waiting a 10-15 minutes and drive. Plastic, aluminium, cast iron, steel, inox, they stick on any kind of the surfaces. But what is the best story about this? When you disassemble the parts, you can easily peel off without any remains, which is not the case with many of other silicone paste. Also, I got information from the mechanics from the field. When they apply, it's always when you squeeze, there's something is get out.
Yes.
And when they cure, they try to tear just to making a aesthetic.
Yes.
On many competitive silicone paste, they just take out from the assembly. But with this one, when they tear it, they remain inside the assembly.
Okay.
So it's one of maybe most advantage by the mechanics, but they're not looking completely, but they price those silicone paste first time when they start to use.
Like this Evo 300, it's so popular that sometimes I'm not sure what they are using. Is it toothpaste or they're using it so much and they are
okay.
in love with it.
They love use silicone paste everywhere and any kind of the silicone paste because they try to solve the problem at the moment, but it's not the solution. Silicone paste doesn't matter if you speak about Evo 300 or some others. It's always advised to use as the manufacturer predicts surface or assembly where to use. On a motor engine, when we have some aluminum oil sump, there is always goes with the silicone, But if somewhere is a gasket, flat gasket, silicone not needed to use.
Yes, true.
But okay, they always try to solve the problem immediately when they appear. What they have at the hand, silicone, yeah.
Silicone
Yes.
paste.
But okay, aside, in a modern design of the engines and also vehicles, the engineers use on a lot of spots and a lot of parts they're using a silicone. Because when they calculating, it's much easier to put a silicone than creating some gasket. Gasket need a tool, gasket need some storage compartment, special packaging, avoiding the damage. But the silicone, it's very easy to apply with a machine in a very tiny quantity. Okay, it's not put 1 centimeter if they predicted 2 millimeters and so on. So maybe because of that they use a lot of, but they like it.
Yes. And what makes the I know I got some comments from some mechaniker. They love the color. I mean, is it different than the HT300?
Yes, I know also about this. Some of them don't like the red color. Some of them don't like the black color. One of the guy just came to me and asking me, "Do you have the white silicone paste?" Yes, we have it, but this is HT200.
Yes.
It's a lower temperature, but okay, they use on some spots and places where the temperature is not reaching above the 150.
To seal
so it's
some,
perfect,
okay, yes.
perfect for use. But as many people as many desires.
But is there a color difference between the HT300 and Evo?
HT300 is black color,
Okay.
HT200 is white color, and Evo 300 is anthracite gray. Dark gray, which is really appreciable when you attach on the engine or gearbox. It's aesthetically looks.
Yes, it's blended in.
Yes.
Alex, it's really fun to have you here. I think this episode comes to an end, but I would like to thank you very much for your time, the valuable information. I know you come all the way from Europe for this podcast. Thank you very much. Any final words?
Any final words? It's nice to be among the friends, and I'm really enjoy in this episode, and it was my honor I'm honored to be your guest today.
So thank you, Alex, for a wonderful time. You guys, thank you very much for following us. Until next time, keep spinning towards success. And that wraps another episode of Wikibearings. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights into the fascinating realm of the engineering innovation. Until next time, keep spinning towards greatness.